Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Ben Griffin Podcast. Today I got my guest, Isaiah.
Yep. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, how you doing, bud?
Pretty good.
All right, pitter patter.
Let's get at her.
And I got Hope joining me today.
Hi.
Very excited to have you. Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, thank you. Very considerate of you guys to stop by. Today we're doing a little different format, just to kind of give everyone a heads up. This is a free-flowing format, so it's a little more discussion-based. Hence why I wanted you guys to come on and help me with the intro. We're going to try some new stuff today. We're talking about some ghost stories after Halloween. I know it's not exactly, the timing is a little afterward, but still I want to hit it. I thought it'd be fun to talk about again, especially because we share so many of these conversations at the lunch table. So we'll try that out. We're also going to talk a little bit about Isaiah's farm stories, which I'm really excited about because I don't think I've laughed nor cried harder than when you bring out these stories. And I know there's going to be more because I want you to explain some stuff to me. And then finally, Hope, I want to get your opinion on a dog. What was the name again?
Bentley.
The working
Cocker.
the working Cocker Spaniel, who apparently is making waves in Ireland right now. So we'll get to that too. But I'm just happy you guys are here to join me. We're going to have a little bit of a rougher podcast, so stay with me. But I'm really excited to try this new thing with you guys. And I'm so happy you're here with me. But thank you to all of you who are listening to this right now. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate your ears and enjoy the podcast. Isaiah, welcome back.
Well, thank you, sir.
Hope, welcome first timer.
Thank you.
We won't scare you that much right away. I will say this, though. Isaiah walks into the room, and the first thing he recognizes is the Dick of the Month trophy. And I think that unsettled you quite a bit.
A little bit, yeah.
It's my favorite trophy. It's badass. You can't not like it.
It looks like Stone Cold Steve Austin. I
does.
never thought of that until you said that.
That was the first thing I noticed.
Yeah. But for listeners, I have a trophy because I'm an RA. I RA a bunch of hockey players. Great guys. But in order to kind of keep everybody honest and know that everyone's kind of on top of each other and we're watching, as creepy as that sounds, but to keep everyone polite, we have a Dick of the Month award that goes out every month to somebody who's playing like their music too loud or just causing a ruckus on the floor that isn't write-up worthy, but at the same time is just kind of inconsiderate of others. And it's been kind of funny to see how people react. Who knows? We may extend it to the group.
Oh, man.
That'd be great.
You think so?
I would love that.
I feel like people would get so competitive because we turn negatives into positives here.
Yeah, that's really true.
Yeah, we do.
Amongst us. But I guess the quick introduction I can do of you two is Isaiah's already been on. Mm-hmm. Hope is our friend from the lunch table. We always meet together Monday, Wednesday, Friday, so I kind of keep up with you regularly. And the reason this podcast was started, because you brought up the idea of ghost stories around Halloween, and I know Halloween's a little bit past, but it's never too late for a good story. I love this kind of stuff because there's no explanation to it. But first, have you guys ever had, do you have favorite stories that you want to jump off right away, or do you have any thoughts or opinions?
I don't know. My favorite, I'm a little biased. My favorite is probably the one that happened to me. But, yeah, I do have a couple.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, first, I feel like I need to have Hope tell me a little bit about herself because I feel like you're new to this. Might as well tell the listeners who you are. Okay. What's your major? What are you hoping to do with it?
Well, my major is psychology, and I'm currently hoping to go into speech pathology with that, but we'll see. I mean, I still have 2 years.
Yeah.
No idea what's going to happen in the 2 years, so.
What is that? I don't even want to attempt to re-say what you just said.
Speech pathology is pretty much working with people who maybe had a traumatic brain injury where they can't talk well anymore. Okay. And so I'd work with them and do therapy with them to talk again, that kind of stuff.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I had no idea that was a thing.
Yeah, it's really interesting. It'd be fun.
Quick question. Have you ever heard of the foreign accent syndrome? where
No.
people get conked in the head so hard they wake up with a different
Yes.
accent?
Yeah.
I
Yes.
have. Uh-huh.
I binge those videos more than I need to.
Yeah.
Like, is that through psychology or is that something else or what's
I
going on
honestly
there?
have no idea. I've only heard of it through like Grey's Anatomy or some hospital
Oh
show.
God, Grey's Anatomy. Yeah, Isaiah's shaking his head at me. Cringe.
I
Yeah.
love Grey's.
Yeah. Did I ever tell you I met one of the cast members there?
Who did you
Um,
meet?
I think his name's George.
No.
Yeah,
I
met
love
him.
George.
Yeah, I was in a play. I was backstage, and his nephew, nephew or niece, nephew, I think, was one of the characters in the play. So I was backstage, waiting for my time to go on, and he wandered back there, and it was Wizard of Oz.
Oh,
I was
gotcha.
Scarecrow. So he's like, he just came over, he shook my hand. I had no idea who he was until later on Instagram. One of my friends posted a picture with him, and I was like, do you know who this guy is? And I showed my sister. And she was like, oh yeah, that's George. It's just George O'Malley.
Yeah, George O'Malley.
Yeah. I met him once.
Oh,
And then he
that's
did
crazy.
he did a bunch of work at the Guthrie.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
that was kind of
that's
one of those
insane.
moments. Yeah.
I love him.
Spoiler alert, but isn't he the guy that died?
Don't they all die?
No, yeah, he got hit by a bus. It was really, really sad. I
Oh,
cried.
yeah.
I cried
Yeah, I
a
know what
lot.
you're talking about.
When my sister's mad at me, she'll bring that up. She's like, well, you know what? George got hit by a bus. I'm like, thank you for that. Yeah.
Grey's Anatomy has like the weirdest deaths in it too. There's like I think there's a plane crash. It's
Yeah.
a show about doctors. There's a plane crash.
There's
Yeah.
a plane crash, yeah.
There's like every possible like loophole the writers found to kill off somebody they did.
Mm-hmm.
And usually it was like right at the end of contracts.
Yeah. Yep.
So
Pretty
now-
much.
So funny to me.
It's a sad show, though.
Yeah, well, I've only seen a couple episodes of it. I like vicariously listened to it through my sister,
Yeah.
who was so into it forever.
Mm-hmm.
And the funny thing is, my sister, God love her, but she doesn't do any. We grew up on a farm, so she doesn't do any of like the farm stuff, like
Yeah.
butchering chickens. She can watch that show all day. I cannot because of the surgery scenes. I can't do the surgeries in that, like
Okay.
the fake blood and the I don't know.
That's
I don't-
understandable. It is kind of gross at times.
I get
yeah.
how you can become like dulled to it, but
A little bit.
yeah. Well, you probably. I'm looking at Isaiah. I'm just like you
Isaiah.
you over there. You probably are dulled to organs too, because you grew up on a farm.
Not like the human stuff.
Not the human stuff
in
either?
Grey's Anatomy. Like if it's human surgery or like human broken bones.
Broken
No.
bones, yeah. When they redo
That's-
broken bones, those
that's
are
fucked up.
nasty. That is really fucked up.
Oh God.
No, but I've been watching this show lately. I think I told you both, called Travels with My Father.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Jack Whitehall.
Yep.
Oh my God. I've never laughed harder at a TV show in my entire life. I can't wait for you guys to see it and come on and review it with me, because I don't know. I don't even know how this goes in. It was just like TV shows. I just watched it before you guys came, so I'm still like thinking over some of the stuff that happened. So I
Where's
won't say anything.
Where's it on?
It's on Netflix.
I want to start watching that.
I should.
You
Oh, yeah.
will laugh so hard. I cried. I was dying so hard. And you know how I am when I get laughing. I don't like stop
Yeah.
at the lunch table. It was like that, but multiplied. It was just so
Yes.
funny all the way through. So I hope you guys watch it. It was pretty good. But speaking of TV shows and stories, we're just passing Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
One of the big things that's been happening, I know me and Hope have been studying this, is the reaction of ghost stories on people and how much that draws people together and how strange that is. And it seems like a weird jump point, because it is. But I just really thought it was kind of fun to talk to you guys about some of the stories that you brought up. You were bringing up some of the haunted places around this location. Hope had some good stories. I've got stories. I don't know if they're any good. But I thought we'd just kind of start and just see where we get, because it was really fascinating to me to talk about this stuff, and especially how weird things can just be with people and how they have these strange situations. And I love that both of you are psych majors too, because now I'm really going to feel weird when you're like, maybe they were just hallucinating. I'm like, or maybe not, you know? But no, I just say we get the ball rolling. Hope, do you want to take center stage right away?
Yeah, sure. I think I'll probably start with my personal ghost story.
Please.
Just because that's
this
my
was so
favorite.
cool. I feel bad. I usually tell you to save it for the podcast, but I didn't want to be an ass and yell at you at the table.
Yeah,
Save it
no.
for the podcast.
I was like, I don't know. I'm like not a believer in ghosts, or like to try not to be, because I feel like once you believe in it, it's real.
Yeah.
And you'll like see it if it's real. But yeah, this happened to me like a long time ago. Like I was like 10 or 11, and me and my younger sister used to share a room, and we had bunk beds, and she was at the age where she didn't really sleep in there every night. And it was like one night, it was super late, and I was tired, and I was trying to go to bed, and I heard someone whisper my name, and I was like, what the heck? Faith, be quiet, shut up, I'm trying to go to bed, what are you doing? And so I just like told her like, hey, be quiet, I'm trying to sleep. And I heard my name again, and so I like whip out of my bed, right? And I'm on the top bunk. I swing my head over and I say, what do you want? And she's not laying in her bed, and I'm like, this is not good. And so I was like, I swear I heard my name, like I can still hear it. And so I run out of my room into my parents' room, and sure enough, there's my sister on the floor, and I'm like, someone was just trying to talk to me, and it was not my sister.
Jeez. These are like the reasons I love these stories, is because you're like, you want to just be like, oh, it's a fiction of your imagination or something like that, and you're just like, but there's something just off about just sitting in your room. Do you have like anything in your house or anything like that you're like suspected of? Or
Not at all. Nope. It's so weird.
Is it an old house?
No, we built it.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
That's really weird, actually.
It's so creepy.
Those good old Indian burial grounds, they'll get you.
Okay, but we have this old chest that came on a ship with my ancestors. And so I'm wondering, it has like a creepy painting of some lady on the inside, and it scares the crap out of me.
Was the voice that said your name, was it like a female's voice?
Yeah, because that's why I thought it was my sister.
You and I should start a ghost hunting
Dude.
show. Dude, that was my shit when I was growing up.
Hell
Did you
yeah.
watch those growing up?
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
It's so good. We'd be so good at it too.
We would be really good at it. Here, pull that thing up on you a little bit. Oh my god. This is when I wish I had live stream. This is when. It is weird before you guys came, because we were in a communication class together, and we talked about the impact of stories on other people, especially ghost stories, which was what I thought was so fitting about having this now. And I followed up. I was like, well, that's kind of interesting, you know, how people react to that in a certain way. And I went down the rabbit hole, and, you know, you point at me and you're like, that's the thing. That's the chest that you can probably say is the cause of the haunting. That's so common. Like, to a lot of people's stories, is that there's a object or a place of such emotional connection that even when somebody passes, there's almost like there's an energy around that. And it's so strange to even think of, because I'm usually a scientific person.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't necessarily believe in ghosts, but at the same time, there's just some stories that you're just like, what the hell is going on here? But it is odd how much it's an object and how much it's a random object, like a chest or a plate or a table. It can be something so goofy as just a life altering event happened around this room or this chest. So that's kind of creepy when you think about it. Just like, oh yeah, there's like this German chest with this old woman inside of it. And now Aunt Helga is coming back to haunt me in the middle of the night, just calling, you know, Faith. But I can't remember. Did you have a second one too?
Yeah, it actually happened to my brother. It was like, don't say anything about my brother. I swear, Isaiah. I see the look in your eyes. No words about my brother.
Oh,
He is so nice.
Okay.
He is such a nice guy.
All right. Well, anywho, when my brother...
I'm sorry. Yeah, that one. Oh my God. Don't do that. Oh my God.
That was too good.
I'm sorry. Isaiah was just like looking straight at me. It's hard not to break the eye contact. But sorry, continue.
You're good. Okay. Yeah. Anywho, when my brother was like really little, like 3 or 4, I want to say, my parents took him to a cemetery for like Veterans Day or something like that. I don't know. They were visiting my mom's relatives' graves. And my brother was running around, as 3 or 4-year-olds do. And my mom kind of like looks over at him and she's like, Cole, what are you doing? And he goes, I'm playing with the little girl. And she's like, okay, what the heck? Like, whatever. And so she like walks towards him and he's playing by this grave. And she looks at the grave and it's a grave of like a little girl. And my brother was at the point where he cannot read at all. And he was just like standing on this grave playing with the little girl.
Ugh.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
thanks. I would have left. I would have picked that kid up like the Lion King and marched out of that grave, right?
And my mom is like a firm believer in like, they're not ghosts, they're spirits, you know?
Oh,
So like, she was definitely afraid at that point.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is your mom like, there's angel stories in your family?
Definitely.
Because that's
Yeah.
one that's in my family a lot of.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like, I have a birthmark, or I don't anymore because I grew up. But when I was little, I had a heart-shaped birthmark on my knee.
Okay.
And my mom used to tell me, oh, that's your angel kiss. I saw an angel kiss you when you were a baby. I'm like, okay, that's kind of creepy. But yeah.
Oh my god. I have I think it was my great grandmother, Elizabeth. Maybe I can't remember. Somebody in my family fell down a flight of stairs at a very advanced age. I think it was my grandma Elizabeth. And she fell down and she wasn't able to get herself back up and it actually knocked her out. And her son wasn't able to come home, had no idea she had fallen. But when he gets back home, he finds her all the way upstairs in the in the like top level with the light on, book in, and she's like, that nice man came in, helped me back up the stairs. I walked back up, she put me down, brought the book in. I gotta get like those stories always freak me out too, are the angel stories.
Yeah.
And they're usually they never see a person. It's usually like a piece of like white cloth or it's bright white light or something like that, and you always see it kind of fading away. Like something's retracting now that you're up. But those stories also fascinate me about people like that.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of have a little story like that, but it's more of like an emotional story.
Yeah.
And it was like, I was really close to my piano teacher. And she was like my neighbor for like 7 or 8 years. And after she died, I kind of was like going through a hard time with just like school and stuff. And I was in mass with my family. And the sun like shined. I don't know if that's a correct grammar, but shined through the like window. And I was like, I kind of like felt her. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely weird when you feel that and experience it.
Man. Well, you got any, Isaiah, that you can think of off the top of your head? Or are you just
Well, I mean,
the spirit of all them cats?
hey man,
We'll get to that later.
go man. That's gonna be such a fun one to talk about.
I'm so excited for this part. 'Cause-
But the only ones, my brother thinks he saw a ghost. And I think it's a dream.
Yeah.
That one I don't believe in, but
There's a lot of them that you kind of like, you're like, I'm either in or I'm out.
because he said that he was laying in his bed and he seen like a Civil War soldier standing at the bottom of his bed. I don't know if that's true, but he says he did, and so I was like, okay, but you can think that, but I don't know if that one's true. But there was something with like my dad or something. I don't even remember really, but one of my like great aunts or something was dying or something like that, and that was before my dad was born, and she was like, oh, here's little Paul, like, hey, and then they're like, what? And then later on my dad was born. I think they already knew his name was Paul, like they were gonna name my dad Paul already, but she was just like seeing him, I guess, before she passed away. I don't really know. That could be wrong for the story, but I don't remember.
Yeah.
The only thing that's ever possibly, big air quotes, that's happened to me would be one time I was in the HCC at St. Ben's working for St. Ben's security.
This is interesting. I kind of remember you telling me this.
And we were in Ocons, and then we heard like a loud banging noise, like pans falling over or something. And so we're like, okay, we got to go figure out what that is. So we walked in the kitchen, and there was nothing. Like, no pans, no broom, no, like, cutting board, knife thing, whatever. Nothing was on the floor. Nothing was, like, out of place or anything. And so we kind of just, like, walked around, like, looked in all the rooms and stuff, and there's nobody there. And, like, even downstairs, like, we checked the entire place, and we couldn't find anybody. Like, nothing had fallen over, nothing. So, don't know what that was, but I don't know. I don't know if it was really something, but it could have been, but I guess you never know.
No, it's always that one weirds me out too, because on top of that being just right around Halloween, and on top of you being like at the pinnacle of being like the spook factor's up, we also had a case on campus where we had a homeless man move in to one of the local yards. I don't know. I was told he was living by Clements, but at the same time, I'm like, was it him?
No.
Or was it actually a ghost? Was it old Roger the homeless guy just jumping in and out of windows?
This thing in the HCC was like during the summer.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It was that long ago?
That was a long time ago.
Oh, I thought this was like last couple weeks ago.
No, that was during the summer, but the other thing was like real close.
Ugh, man. Well, did I show you my shadow person video?
I
Probably
bet you
not.
maybe. I don't know.
Maybe you saw it last year with me, but I showed Hope the video that was sent to me by a woman at a restaurant. She works at this restaurant, and she was there's this office in the back of this restaurant, and her dogs were just going absolutely crazy. It's earlier in the morning. She's there alone, and she's like, oh, well, the dogs must be just excited to see me. So she pulls out her phone, and she starts recording, and as she records, she doesn't know what she caught. And about a week later, she's going through her phone, and you could see that both dogs running at her. Mm-hmm. And in the back, the door frame, there's a shadowy figure that moves from right to left and disappears halfway through the door.
It's terrifying.
Yeah, I know. I don't know what it is. There's something crazy about that open-endedness of it all. You know, it's hard to explain.
Like,
but
you really like a good ghost story because you're like, oh, it could be. Like,
yeah.
There's always that unknown, but at the same time, you're like, I don't know if that's real or not. But then, what if it is? Like,
yeah,
I don't know.
Who was it? Was it Alex I was talking to about the gangsters down in Chicago and how there's all these old haunted like streetways, like by alleys or where theaters were torn down because they were mass execution spots by gangsters.
Yeah,
and it's not uncommon to find different places around the world where there's just such traumatic energy around it that there's residual, hauntings. I don't know, because I'm not into paranormal the way I was as a kid.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm kind of like you guys. I don't want to like believe it, because to me, it's a weird way to think about death, is getting stuck.
Yeah.
Like, can you imagine if you're haunting someplace? Like, say you're haunting the house you're living in right now. That'd be a terrible way to go. I think. I think that would be horrible. But at the same time, there's places like the H.H. Holmes house you were talking about.
Like,
well, why don't you explain that one? Because that one was really interesting. Was that the one in London?
Yeah, I think so. I'm pretty sure it's in London. I'm not entirely sure where it is because he came over to America for a little bit.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure it's in London. But this guy, H.H. Holmes, like, basically was a serial killer. He was a doctor, I'm pretty sure. And he hired a bunch of different, like, building manufacturers, I guess.
Yeah.
To build this house, but he had them only build, like, part of it. So they would have them build, like, a section, and then he would basically be like, all right, you're done. And then he would hire a different one, and then have them build a different part. So nobody actually knew the house except him. and basically he turned it into like a murder factory. So like he would take people into this mansion and then just kind of like let them go or something like that, and then he would just play his mind games with them until he found them, and then he would murder them and then dispose of their bodies in his basement.
Yeah, and you and I looked at the layout of the house. There's like hidden staircases.
Mm-hmm.
There's rooms that lead to nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
There was like identical rooms, so when you ran in one, you thought you were back in the one you started.
Yeah.
So you'd double loop. You'd loop back. And then he had a hidden basement that he would use to like cremate everything.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just the lengths to go to that. That's insane.
Like
Like
that's
somebody
the
would
stuff
do
out of
that.
movies.
No kidding.
And that's just what he wanted to do. Like he wanted to do that.
Man, you know who knows a ton about like insane serial killers is Dan, because he studied them for a long time because of profiling.
Mm-hmm.
But it is crazy where the human mind can go, and especially the lengths they're willing to go to kind of satisfy that creepy need to like. I don't even know how to describe that.
I read a short story one time. It was called like, oh god, The Most Dangerous Game.
Okay,
Have you ever heard of that?
I've heard of it. I don't know what it's about.
It's basically like these people invite other people to their private island and then basically hunt them. So they like release them out into the island, and they're supposed to hide while these people get ready for the hunt, and they come out and hunt these people.
Ugh.
Because people are the most dangerous game. That's the whole premise.
Okay, yeah.
But like the things people will go to like fulfill that adrenaline rush, especially if you have like a sick mind, I guess.
Yeah.
Like,
jeez,
it's insane.
I mean, Criminal Minds would say,
don't even start. I've been up so long to that show because Dan would stand like
I
2
love
feet
it.
from the
Oh
TV.
my god, I love the show. But like, I don't know. What I learned from Criminal Minds is like, which maybe not, it might not be the most reliable source, but still, it's a source. Is that
they do their homework on that show, I've heard.
Yeah.
Like Dan
Yeah.
usually was like, yeah, they're pretty good about most
Yeah.
stuff. They will like pull a couple punches here and there for story purposes, but
and some of them are actually like true stories. Like I did a
oh really?
Yeah, I did a presentation on it in high school. It was insane. Yeah. But like a lot of times, what I learned from the show at least, a lot of times the serial killers will do it for like sexual release if they can't actually like perform.
That's a big one I've heard
Yeah.
actually. That is
Yeah.
big. It's kind of the tie between sex and violence together.
Yeah.
Well, not even performance. It was like Ted Bundy. That was just
Yeah.
one of those like things he wanted to be involved
Exactly.
in. I don't want to speak too much of Ted Bundy because he's a huge public figure. People know better than me.
Yeah.
Well, and like another thing is part of the reason why they get caught is because they want the recognition. Like they want
do.
people
Exactly.
to know
Yeah.
that it was them that did it.
Yeah.
They want to be famous.
Yeah.
Ugh,
It's so weird. It's
that
so
is
weird to think
strange.
about.
That is strange.
Like the whole psychology behind that is just weird to think
It's
about.
insane.
Like that, it's just weird how you want people to know that it was you that did this bad, horrible thing.
But it's like they're proud of it and they
Yeah.
don't see it as horrible.
Yeah.
That's the one that freaks me out the most about the Zodiac killings. Out
Yeah.
in California, about
Yep.
the letters being written to the Post and to the police that I'm the Zodiac killer. The Zodiac's just like, I think it was a watch brand.
Yeah. Ted
Yeah.
Cruz.
Yeah. I should send you the picture of it's Ted Cruz on a caterpillar.
Oh no.
Like, you ever seen Elf on a Shelf? Here's the Zodiac killer on a caterpillar.
Oh my goodness.
That's actually pretty good, not gonna lie.
No, but like the determination to get recognition for the atrocities that they committed. You know, I say they because we don't actually know who they were. But I mean, the letters were so creepy. The movie Zodiac, they recreated the actual scenes like to a T, down to the clothes that the victims were wearing. So like to see the scenes and how it was all performed, there was a costume for the Zodiac killer. I mean, think about being so psychologically like involved in your crime that you have to have a costume. You're a real life supervillain.
It's a performance.
It is a performance. I mean,
Well, me and Levi, Levi watched most of it, but I caught the last couple episodes. We watched Manhunt for the Unabomber.
oh, really?
Like that docuseries or whatever it's called. And that was pretty cool too. Like just like they portrayed how, like, why he did it. Like, and I don't know if you know a whole lot about him.
No, I don't know a ton.
Basically he just mailed bombs to people. Like, he built homemade bombs and then would mail them through the post system.
Wow.
Because he didn't like technology. So basically he went a little crazy, and he didn't like technology because he thought we were blindly obeying technology. And so he was a math professor, and he had like an IQ of like 167. So he was like Albert Einstein level genius, and was a professor of mathematics at some college. And one day he was driving to work or someplace, and he pulled up to a red light and stopped. And then he said that he realized that there was no other cars there, and he could have went if he wanted to, but he stopped because the red light told him to.
Oh.
So like he just blindly obeyed what the technology told him, and that was kind of one of the turning points in his mind, where he was just like, we need to go back to the time where there was no technology. And so he moved himself to the middle of Montana, in the middle of the woods and the mountains, in this tiny shack with no electricity or running water, and built bombs, and then mailed them to people.
Jeez.
Or like mailed them to like technology places, so that way he could get people to listen to him and to stop using technology. And then he wrote like a manifesto, which is like 230 some paragraphs long, written in the form of like a doctorate back in like the 19 whenever he graduated. And he sent a letter to the news outlets and was like, if you don't publish my manifesto, I'm going to send bombs to people. And so they published it because he wanted people to read this manifesto about how bad technology is and how we need to get rid of it.
Weird.
Yeah, it's really weird, like, why he did it.
Well, and it's always the beautiful mind crazies. It's the people with the extraordinary IQ, something that we all dream of, that we all end up fearing.
Yeah.
The ones that are just so beyond brilliant that they overthink, or I don't know what term you want to call it, but they turn on society and they're like, no, I can correct this. I can fix this ship. And moving to Montana and building bombs is the direction they want to walk.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just an idiot not to see it because I don't have that IQ. But at the same time,
like his ideas about like the technology and stuff, they're not that far fetched actually. Like if you, I read some of the manifesto just because I was
just
curious.
the actions that he took.
Right, like the actions he took were not how you should go about that. But like the technology thing kind of makes sense. Like we do kind of severely depend on technology now. Like if the technology went away, there would not be a whole lot of people who would know what to do with themselves.
Yeah,
That's really true.
Yeah. Or like we blindly obey it, like the stoplights. I mean, granted it's for our safety and stuff, but we just kind of do it without even thinking about it.
it is funny though. I was thinking about something similar to that today but it was more related to social media because I'm a comm major, so I think about social media every day, and how much that idea of you stop because the stoplight tells you to, because technology tells you to. We act based on social media, what social media tells us to do. And you will put your life on hold if you are not abiding by what is going on online. At least a majority of people will.
Yeah.
If you're put on blast on Twitter, I know you guys don't have Twitter, but it's one of those like moments like you're reeling back. Like you don't know what to do. You're typing and you feel like you have to be key on every single word you say. There's like this discipline to it. It is crazy that technology can control us that way. That you have to completely flip your brain to think in just characters than other words. So that's one of those stories though about the Unabomber that I'm gonna have to watch that now because I'm fascinated by stuff like that.
It was pretty cool.
We had one right next to Superior. We had a kid.
Oh really?
when I was up there, yeah. No, it didn't happen when I was there, but this was one of my favorite stories. Me and Eddie, my old roommate, found this out on a documentary that was being done. I think it was called The Forensic Files. It's also on Netflix, but we were just watching it for fun.
Good show.
And then all of a sudden, it was like 7 blocks away from where we were living. Happened one of the longest open crime files ever. Like, it was a cold case, and it got closed like after 42 years.
Really?
But this kid, it was a grocery store. And my friend Paris knew exactly where that grocery store was. It was actually still open till a certain point. And this kid, he was one of two. He was the oldest. Lived with his mom, who had divorced, and she started her own grocery store. It was this tiny little like mom and pop shop.
Yep.
She only sold select group of items. And one night, he's supposed to cover the store, but instead of going to the store, he really wants to go to the fairground just down the street. And really, he wants to go smoke with his buddies.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was coke. But his mom says no. They get into a verbal altercation. He kills her right there with a hammer.
Oh, goodness.
Goes back to the house, washes off the hammer, puts it back in the drawer, comes back, moves the body, I think a couple feet over to make it look like it was some sort of break-in, busts the glass down in the door, and then goes to the fair, gets his coke, does it with his buddies, comes back, calls the cops on the murder he did. The cops come, and he says somebody, I guess, broke in, and he's planting shit. He's moving everything around like it was a robbery, and he just can't control his emotions. He's weeping on the phone. He doesn't know what to do, and the cops come. They're like, well, clearly it was a break-in. There's no evidence that points directly to him. And like 30 years go by.
Holy shit.
And he finally admits it at around 2002. He comes out clean because he's a father now.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, oh my God, what did I do? And so he admits, and now I think he's coming out of prison here pretty quick. He wasn't going to be in for very long when I saw it. I got to look that case back up. I just remember talking to Eddie, and Eddie was like, yeah, he's going to be out here pretty quick. He's like, what? You kidding? It was like 2019, 2020. It was like, yeah, he'll be out in like
Holy
3 years.
crap.
But it was some sort of case where when he came forward, but they were able to, after years and years and years, prove that it was him through the hammer. And where the scratch marks on the hammer was from the beating, they were able to find old forensic information from the blood that was originally there that didn't come off originally.
Mm-hmm.
So it was
That's
like,
insane. That they can still find
They
that.
can
That
still
it's still
find that.
there.
Yeah.
I gotta pull that back up. That you just reminded me of that. That's insane to me. But gotta like scroll down to my list and see what we were going to talk about. Because this is what happens when we get off topic. I just pulled you guys in, so it's like, yeah, let's just talk for the night, see what happens. And this is what ends up happening: is you guys just kind of throw me for loops. Where usually most of the time when I have a topic, there's an answer to it. There's some sort of answer at the end.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This is one where I don't, so it's gonna come out so open-ended and loose-end. I bet it'll drive people nuts, but that's okay. That's fine. It's only episode 8? Who knows? But I wanted to also talk about the Winchester house,
Oh, yeah.
because you and I were talking about that too.
Mm-hmm.
And do you want to describe it first? And
Sure.
Why don't you? Because you do a lot. You're a lot better at talking than me.
Well, basically, it's supposedly haunted. But this,
It's by San Diego.
yeah, it's in California, and I don't remember her name, Lady Winchester, I guess. She was the wife of the guy who owned the Winchester Corporation, like the gun Winchesters,
Yeah.
like those ones. And they built this house, and then like all of her family died basically, or something like that, or something bad happened where she was the only one left. And so basically she just had all these different like carpenters and like architects and whatever come in and build this mansion, kind of like the H.H. Holmes house, but like worse. So there was no like rhyme or reason. The H.H. Holmes had like he had a sadistic plan to it.
Yeah.
But this one didn't. Her entire idea of building this mansion was to make it so that way the ghosts couldn't find their way through the house to get to her. And so there's like dining rooms that you can't get to. There's like outdoor windows that look into other rooms. There's stairways that lead up to nothing and then just drop off. There's doors that are like on walls that only reach halfway to the floor from the ceiling. And there's like rooms that you can't get to. You can't get to an attic. Stairs that...
I took the virtual tour right after we talked about it, and there's like this one staircase it's like a half step. It goes up about 3 feet, and then it just ends. It goes to wall, and then you just come back down. And then if you turn the corner, there's like half walls, how they're supposed to come up. Usually they're around kitchens. There's one hanging from the ceiling, so you got to like duck under the half wall. And her idea was, I'm just going to rearrange this house as much as possible to confuse these ghosts so that they'll just bugger off.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And like, if you go to a tour, like you have to have a tour guide because if you don't, you will get lost in that house. Like there's been cases of people who stray away from the groups and they get lost in there for like hours. And then the people have to go back and find them wherever they are, somewhere in this house.
That's a sad story to tell your like friends.
Yeah.
I went on this tour.
I couldn't get out of the kitchen. I didn't know what to do.
Yeah, somehow I made it into a room without doors or windows.
Oh, goodness.
That is crazy.
Yeah. It's like how do you get to that point?
Well, can you imagine what it was been like to be like her friend? And she's a really wealthy woman, so she knew probably a ton of people for that time.
Exactly, yeah.
And all of a sudden they're like, "Oh, Miss Winchester, another renovation?"
Yeah.
36th one. Yeah.
Or even like the people building it, they gotta just be looking at her like, are you serious right now? Like, do you really want me to build half a wall?
Yeah, or you want a door that goes nowhere?
Yeah.
Why? Yeah.
All right. If you're paying for it, why not?
Yeah. I mean, she'll shoot you.
Yeah.
She must have paid them well.
Oh, yeah.
Really though.
Really well. It's a big house too.
Mm-hmm. It's massive.
It's one of the biggest houses in California still.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez.
It's insanely big. So I don't doubt that people just go up there and get lost forever.
Oh yeah.
But no, that's insane.
And I don't know how much longer she lived in the house, or like if she actually did, but I just know she built it to like trap them, the ghosts.
I don't know.
It's weird.
Yeah, it is. It's something to think about. It's just what drives people that way. It's like protesters, it's those old sayings like, who would jump in front of a car on the highway to protest rights? Well, a desperate person.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Who rearranges their house enough to hide from ghosts? It's like, there's something going on there.
Yeah.
It can't just be a full psychotic... Well, maybe it could be a full psychotic breakdown. I take that back. But it's something. There's always something going on. And usually in these podcasts, I have a lot to like go back and forth with. But this is the first time I've ever had problems with. We honestly just don't know.
Yeah.
And that's what's just kind of fun to do, is just kind of sit back for a second and be like, what in the world could actually be happening there?
Mm-hmm.
And you make up your own story. I'll make up mine. We'll find our way around that. But speaking of stories, can you tell me about Oscar?
Oscar?
Yes.
Oh, my grandma's chipmunk. Yes.
I know this is
like
a tone
a
change.
180.
Yeah.
I needed a tone change, man. I'm getting a little lost over here with the whole paranormal ghost angel stories, but I want to talk about something a little happier and a little less creepy.
Okay. Well, my grandma is, I want to say, early 80s, and she has this chipmunk that lives in her backyard that she feeds, and the only reason that she knows it's her chipmunk is because it has half a tail, and she named it Oscar. And so I'll just be like at her house, and we'll see this chipmunk run by, and she'll go, "Oh, there's Oscar," and she'll like go get her thing of bread and like go outside and like feed her chipmunk.
Is it like a big chipmunk now?
No, it's just like a tiny little chipmunk, and I'm like, what the heck is going on? And it'll like run into a hosta, and she'll be like, "Oh no, he's scared." I'm like, what is happening?
So she can't hold Oscar.
No, well, she'll like feed him, but she obviously can't hold him. It's an animal, but like, yeah, it's insane.
Well, I want to just be honest here. You know those people that are like one with nature?
Yeah.
Like Steve Irwin? Why are those always crackheads?
I don't know.
Every time I go on like a social media platform, there's a video of some homeless guy with a pet squirrel on a leash. Like he caught that somehow, and now it's just running around. All these people in foreign countries, they got monkeys crawling all over them, and usually they're like doing something. They're smoking a hookah. It's usually some guy on drugs that's like, I'm totally gonna put a leash on that.
Or it'd be like that guy on YouTube.
You know who I'm talking about, Hope. He's got 4 teeth. You know.
That guy
He's
on
like,
YouTube.
this is my pet squirrel.
This is
And
my
you're
pet
like,
squirrel.
yeah, it's King Richard. He's like, okay, great. How'd you get that? I don't know. He just showed up. You know who I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
There's plenty of guys like that. I've
Or-
seen a dude walk a cat down the street, and that freaked me out.
Yeah, that sounds weird.
That is weird.
No,
Why would you walk a cat?
I don't know.
the cat wanted it, I guess. Again, one with nature, probably a crackhead.
Also, like, why does Oscar have half a tail?
Yeah, why does he?
I have no idea. She just met him and he had half a tail. Yeah.
Nature is brutal, Isaiah.
Oh my god. Well, it's like, or the other one with nature type is like that guy on YouTube, Coyote Peterson. You ever seen him?
No.
Literally, he had this entire segment where he would just take all these different like insects that sting you and then would get them to sting him so that way he could tell you the
Why?
pain.
This is crackhead land.
Yeah.
Why are they doing this?
Like he went all the way from like an ant, I think, to like, oh, what the hell was it? I think it's a bullet ant, maybe. Which is like the biggest. I think
like
that's
reeling
like,
back from this shit.
Yeah.
Right now.
so like
Christ, people.
pretty close to that is like a tarantula hawk, which is basically, it's like a wasp that
When
kills
they
and
start
eats
combining two
tarantulas.
different
Yeah.
animals to talk about one insect, that's when I get nervous. When you call something a tarantula hawk, tarantula, spider, arachnid, hawk, bird. This is a really big fucking ant. We're going to call it these two things together.
It's a wasp that kills tarantulas.
Oh my God.
I think it eats them too. I'm not sure.
I'll
But
pull it up here in a sec.
I don't know. It's just got a really painful sting. And there's like a whole scale. And he went through like every single one. And then just put it on his arm until it stung him. And then told you what the sting felt like.
Wow. Yeah, I've got it right here. A tarantula hawk. It's a spider wasp that preys on tarantulas.
Yeah.
That is a big bug. That
Yeah,
is
it's massive.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to put the screen down. 1 minute. I don't want to look at that thing any more than I have to. But it's also the same. Like, the only guy that I could watch, and this is going to sound cliche, but the only guy that I watched, like, pick up animals and I was comfortable with was Steve Irwin.
Oh my God.
It was so much fun
I
watching
love
him.
him. I love him. I'm sorry.
The only thing I couldn't do was the shorty shorts. But then again,
His son
they're starting to come back.
is going to be just like him.
His daughters really like him, too.
Yeah.
She's
Isn't her
really
name like
nice.
Very
Brandy?
much so.
Yeah, Brandy.
Brandy Irwin?
And I think his son is
Bindi.
Robert.
It's Bindi.
Bindi.
Irwin.
Bindi,
That's
thank
the
you.
Yeah.
Yes, Bindi.
Yep.
Yeah, no. And what was his son's name?
Robert. I
Robert.
think. Robert Irwin.
And they look just like him.
Oh yeah, they do. And Robert did the alligator feeding, just like Steve used to do.
He has a new show, I think,
Yeah, I think so,
about
too.
animals.
It's like in the Australia Zoo or something like that.
I don't remember. I remember seeing an ad for it though, and
Yeah,
I was
me
like,
too.
I need to watch this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's just like one of those. They're now like royalty.
Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
they're one of these royal families we look at. And no matter what those kids do, people are going to pay attention to them. But in the
Oh, yeah.
best way, because Steve was such a great human being.
He was just a wholesome guy.
He was like one tier below Mr. Rogers, just like a guy who was generally interested in what he wanted to do and just wanted you to love it as much as him. And you
Yeah.
felt that wholesomeness watching it. And his kids exemplify that too.
Oh, yeah.
Which is one of those things that you're like, yeah, I want to watch what they're doing. Like, they're good people.
Mhm.
It's just a really good family. You can sense that on them.
Definitely.
What if I say this and like Robert gets arrested tonight for a DUI? You know,
People would be like, "Oh, it's not his fault."
we both knock on wood.
Goodness.
Oh my God. But speaking of one with animals, a couple of days ago, I feel like I need to set this up before I turn it over to you, Isaiah. And hope
God.
you're going to help me grill him because we got to get down to the bottom of this.
Yeah.
again, we all sit at the lunch table, hence kind of the more relaxed podcast we're having right now. Usually it depends on the guest, but I brought you guys in just to kind of see and pick your minds about stuff. And one of the big things I wanted to talk about is Isaiah's farm.
Oh, man.
And how when your dad says that your doggy went to a farm in the country, that's Isaiah's farm.
That's so not true.
It totally is.
It definitely is.
It's gotta be.
Yeah.
Because I'll just set this up right now. I want you to start and explain to the audience what is the life cycle of a cat on your farm.
That is an unfair question.
How far back should I walk here? Do I describe what I've heard and then you debunk it? How do you want me to talk about this?
Go for it.
Okay, how about this? I'll tell you what I know. Hope will help put me out.
Yep.
Let's start with the cat's Hope.
Oh, wow.
So, what I hear
Yeah.
is you're not a huge fan of tomcats, which is understandable.
Whoa.
But you're the fan that like sits there and just waits for them to be in a position where you can whack them to death.
Whoa.
And then
Whoa. So not true.
Am I wrong?
I enjoy the cats. The cats are good. Just when they start trying to eat the other baby kittens. Then we have to get rid of them.
Okay, so violent cats. So you have
Yes.
violent cats on the place.
Sometimes.
Sometimes. And are these actual strays or were they born on the farm?
Nope, they were born and raised.
Okay, well that leads us to our second point. What's the percentage, like the gene pool? Like, is it all inbred or are we talking like, a high percentage?
I don't know. I can't tell you the percentage. From all I know, it's just like in my little neighborhood, there's 4 of us. Like there's 4 farms, and it just like circulates between us. So I don't
God.
really know.
Oh my God.
I mean, the ones we have now, 2 of them have 3 legs. 1 of them has no tail.
Wait, like were they born with this?
Yep.
They were.
So he just has a stub, or there's just nothing there?
No, there's just a stub.
There's a stub.
Yeah.
Oh my!
One of them is Stumpy.
Stumpy.
I think one of them is Stubby, and I don't know what the other one is.
I need to move this.
It was like, I don't know what happened to these ones. This is the first time that's happened, so
Stubby.
something happened.
Oh my God, that's horrible. Oh, I can't look at you the same way. But
Hey, man.
So Isaiah's farm has all these inbred cats.
Well, I guess.
Generally,
I don't know what happened to this batch. I don't know.
this batch, hinting at the next that there has been many generations of cats to go through the farm in the country.
Yeah, there's been a bunch.
Can we talk about some of these deaths because they're very questionable?
Yeah, you say you get rid of them, but explain what you mean by get rid of them.
I feel like we already know.
Well,
I feel bad for laughing, but it's just knowing him and how big of a sweetheart he is on general. It's like, Christ, there's all these cats out there that are just in like
these
empty
cats were trying to eat and kill the baby kittens.
Okay.
And so we had to cleanse the palate, as you say. So me and my brother went out there and
Nothing too graphic.
had Dad go into the shed and chase them out. And then, bang, got them as they ran away. And then,
my
yeah,
God.
so got 5 of them there. That was good enough.
Did you enjoy that, Isaiah?
Wow.
Was it fun for you?
Jesus. You're breaking them down like a psychiatrist. You're just like, how do you feel, you bastard?
It was kind of like hunting, so it was kind of fun.
Yeah.
But you don't get to like enjoy like eating it or like providing for something. You just kind of
You don't
throw
know
them in a
him.
grave.
It's-
Oh God, I don't need to picture that.
I didn't eat the cats, okay? We buried them in the pet cemetery in our woods.
There's
Along
a
with the other ones.
designated
There's a
spot.
pet cemetery. There's a horror movie about that. I hope you know
Oh my
that.
God, Stephen
These
King.
ones stay in the ground as far as I know. So it's fine. This is so grueling.
This is grueling. Oh my god. Well, sorry. I'm not trying to compose myself because I know too much, and I just want to set up the basics. But the basics are funny to me. What happened to the favorite?
Which time?
Let's walk through them
Well, there was one that
with names, please.
I don't remember this one's
Of
name.
course.
It was so far. It was so long ago. It was my favorite, and it went through the old haybine and got turned into a bloody pancake.
Oh my god!
Yeah, that was an unfortunate time.
I feel really bad for laughing, but I can't help it.
Oh my god! But I'm in. Oh, my cheeks hurt. 1 minute. I'm just gonna move this away for a second.
My other favorite, yeah, he got licked by a cow and froze to a cinder block.
Wait, what?
Yeah, that happened to another one. That one's name was Cookie. Cookie was frozen to a cinder block.
Does a cow have that much saliva?
Yes, it does.
How did he just go patty cake, cinder block? You know?
I don't know. My guess is it got licked and then walked through the snow and stepped on the cinder block, and then its foot got stuck and it just froze standing up right there. That was it looked like a statue from a ways away until you got close and you're like,
There's Cookie.
we lost another one, boys.
Oh my god! Oh,
My other one, Midnight, just got lost.
just flat out lost.
And then we found him in the spring in the hay, and the chickens ate his eyeballs.
No, chickens are brutal though.
They are. We fed them baby mice one time that we found in a bucket.
Yeah, they'll eat snakes. I've never seen that before. Like
Oh, yeah,
when I
I
grew
get
up on
that.
a chick, like we had chickens on my hobby farm. It wasn't really a farm, but they ate a snake in front of me. I hated snakes, but I was playing. I was dribbling the basketball around, and there was a gardener snake that went by, and I'm like,
Yeah.
reel back because you don't
As you
expect
do.
that. Yeah,
As you do.
I
As
hate
you do.
snakes with a passion. I hate them, and all these chickens just flock and ate it right there on the driveway. I was like, what? But sorry, the cat.
Yeah, that was my other favorite one.
Midnight.
God,
I'm sorry, this is a really bad joke, but is his name Midnight because now he can't see?
no! What kind of? I named him Midnight before he got his eyeballs eaten. He was a black cat.
Oh.
You name him Midnight as you do.
Yeah.
I'm just imagining you walking up and seeing his eyes just gone and being like, well, now all he sees is Midnight. Let's name him Midnight.
I'm not
name him
heartless.
afterwards. You cruel human being.
Oh,
My other one was named Tim,
damn.
and it was cold one winter,
Oh no.
and the warmest place is where the cow previously laid, and so the cat just laid down, and then the cow laid down, and bloody pancake number 2.
Bloody pancake.
Yep.
Death by cat.
That was. You'd be surprised how many times that happens. It's
Wait, this has happened more than once?
yeah,
What?
not just to mine.
I thought. Oh, has it happened multiple times on your farm?
Yeah, at least 3-4 times. It's the warmest spot in the barn.
You'd think they'd
They
learn
just-
from the previous generation, you know?
Well, the previous generation's not around to tell them no.
That's true.
You're going
He's
to
got
the
a
farm in
point.
the country. That is, you don't make it off the farm in the country. Tim.
Well,
Tim the cat.
he was a good cat.
He was a good cat. Thank God for Tim. Made me laugh today.
Yep.
And then what about the one in the cornfield with the harvester? What
that
was
was
that?
the first one.
That was the first one?
Yep.
Oh, sorry.
He ran through the haybine and got turned into a bloody pancake.
Okay.
Mm.
Bloody pancake cat.
That's so sad.
It
I'm
was.
sorry.
I had to bury that guy.
That's so sad.
Wait,
But
you didn't have to bury him?
Yeah, I had to bury him.
oh.
Dad's like, I'll help you dig a hole. And I was like,
Oh.
I said I had to bury his favorite cat.
Isaiah knew about death at an early age.
that was one time.
Oh my
okay?
god. Oh my god, my lungs hurt. Oh, Jesus. Stubby.
What else are you gonna name a cat with a stub leg?
Oh, I don't know.
You
Tim.
gotta name it.
Tim.
No, Tim had
Midnight.
all of his extremities.
Okay.
Probably not anymore.
Oh my god.
You guys always give me shit about the 6 kittens, though. That's probably
Oh yeah, we won't talk
Yeah.
about that.
that's probably the worst one. You guys always give me shit. It was an accident.
We don't. The other guys do.
I give him
We
shit.
laugh
I
at
do.
like some. Okay, I don't give him ones on that.
Yeah, you guys are mean.
Oh my
I get
God.
that a lot.
It's so funny. Like I hate laughing. It's such a terrible thing, but it makes me laugh
It's an
because of
unfortunate
how
habit.
often it happens.
Yeah.
It happens like every other month at Isaiah's farm.
It's like how normal he makes it seem. Just like
It's how
talking
it goes.
about it.
Most families will have a cat for like 15 years.
Yeah.
They live for a while.
Yeah.
And you're just like, new model next year. It's going to have 3
Yeah,
eyes.
these normally make it like 2 years before they. Most of them disappear. Okay, to be fair, they
Yeah.
just disappear. So they don't all die horribly.
That we know of. There's
That we
probably a
know of.
bobcat out there. I don't
eating well.
know. Eating well. I don't know. Oh my
so
god.
unfortunate.
It's unfortunate soul. I just need to breathe.
Oh,
Oh my god. Are there any more? Like, what is... Because I know this is so normal to you, but to us, it's like, what?
my brother's cat got cold in the winter and crawled underneath my cousin's truck.
Okay. When I had cats, they did that
Swished.
too. They would like crawl up into the tires or by the motor because
Yep.
it was warm. Yeah.
Yeah, that happened.
Yeah. Pretty
At
much.
least once.
Oh my god. We had one cat when I was growing up because I was allergic to cats. We found out pretty quick.
Mm-hmm.
But we had a barn cat that just stayed with us for a while. And
Okay.
I got like super attached to this barn cat. I think I named it something goofy. I can't even remember the name of it. But we got like cat food and all that. And the thing just kept biting me. But I was convinced that I could love it. And I would just be like, sniffing because I'm
Yeah.
allergic. I had teary eyes and then I get bit and I'm like, I love you. Just a totally abusive relationship between me and a cat.
Oh my
Hope's
god.
looking at me like, God damn it. I was like 7. Also, I had a piano teacher that was from Wisconsin, but she pretended she was Polish.
Why?
I don't know.
Did she pretend well?
No.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I didn't really care as a kid, but my
Yeah.
mom was like, yeah, she was crazy. And I was like, why didn't we leave earlier? Like, she's obviously crazy. But yeah, she thought she would like pretend to be Polish, but she was from like the town next door. So it was like, what's going on here? But she had a 3-legged cat named Alabaster.
Alabaster.
And I used to fucking torture that cat.
Oh my
Not like
goodness.
on purpose
Yeah.
usually, but the pianos were in the basement, so you had to
Mhm.
walk down these like really steep flight of stairs, and there used to be like this little ledge above the railings you could put like pictures and stuff on, and it worked perfectly because it was like steps for the cats, and they weren't quite finished, so about half of the staircase was done, the rest wasn't, and this one-legged cat would like jump down, and if one time, and this happened a couple of times, I would come from outside down because I would flip with my sister. Each lesson was half an hour. So she'd do her half hour. I'd come in and I'd run in from outside. I'd come pounding down the stairs. And if that cat was on the stairs and heard me coming, it would jump straight up. But because it didn't have that third, that extra leg, it would tip one way when it landed and it would roll off.
Oh my god.
So I'd be the thing would be on the steps like trying to find its like bearings.
Oh my
All the meanwhile, terrified for its life, here comes this 8-year-old that has no consideration for its life, just bounding down the stairs. But yeah, Alabaster the cat.
Alabaster. I love it.
And then I had a friend, Seth. He had a cat. I can't remember the cat's name, but it was a perfectly flat-faced cat.
Oh, wow.
And his dad was a cop, and he was a pretty funny dude.
Mm-hmm.
But we were sitting at the dinner table at the end. We were younger, middle school about. And to be funny, he picks up the cat and he goes, "Ben, do you want to know how rare this cat is?" And I'm like, "Yeah, let's see it. What you got?" And he just put it right up against the wall, and its face perfectly fit on the wall. And he was like, "Doesn't even panic." I'm like,
Doesn't even panic.
I'm like, okay. Just puts that thing right there. I'm like, wow.
That's awesome.
That cat was a bastard because Seth also had a hedgehog.
Oh.
And the hedgehog would roll up like in a ball, and the cat would just like bat it around.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, I shouldn't laugh, but it was funny to me
Yeah.
at the time. I just laugh at horrible things. I don't know if it's coping or what. It's just,
Coping.
There was one of my coworkers, going back to what you were talking about, your piano teacher pretending she was Polish.
Yeah.
One of my coworkers was telling me about a kid in her school, like in her high school, and this kid pretended this kid was British, like he was English or whatever, with like the accent and everything.
Yeah.
And he was valedictorian of their class, and like I don't know if it was the only thing he said or if it was like the last thing he said, but he was basically like, "By the way, I'm not actually British." So he pretended the entirety of high school that he was British, and he wasn't actually.
Why the hell would you?
Yeah, that's what I said. And she was like, "Nope, this kid got up there for his valedictorian speech and was like, 'You guys, you were pranked. I'm not actually British.'" And everybody was like, "What the hell?"
What the hell? Dick move. Jesus. Can you imagine that's the prank, is you work your ass off to be the valedictorian just to get the screw you got pranked joke?
It's
It's like the Ashton Kutcher that went wrong. You know, those pranks? It's just
Yeah.
stupid. It's like, why the fuck would you do that? You could have done so many other things with your time.
I know.
Rather than try to perfect the way you say canary or something. Canary.
He's a canary bird.
He's a canary bird.
Oh, goodness.
We will now conduct this.
The
No,
rest
I'm
of
not
this
even
here
gonna try.
podcast is going to be in a British accent. Hope.
In a British.
That's not happening for me. I'm sorry.
No, a British accent. Hope.
I don't want to offend anyone.
Wrong.
You're on an Irishman's show. Look at the flag.
That's
I
true.
mean,
Well, that's a bloody nice flag.
well, thank you.
I
These
love it.
are the moments where, you know, our mutual friend from Scotland, who's been brought up on the podcast before, or not Scotland, Northern Ireland, that he'll get offended at that, but that's okay. But old Alistair would appreciate that. But you couldn't even understand a thing he was saying.
No.
You needed subtitles in real life to talk to him, and even his parents needed them for him.
There were times he would come into our room after like a weekend of just drinking, and he'd come in super hungover, and we'd be like, "What's up, Alistair?" And he'd just say some weird thing, and you're like,
I think they've been talking. You talking drugs?
"I have no idea what you just said, but come on in, buddy." Lay down.
Usually just
Take a
lean in
load
and
off.
hug to you. He'd just be like, "You want a hug?" He's like, "Oh, you're tired already."
He would do this thing every time I sat on the futon. You remember that? He would come in and like try and rugby tackle me to the floor.
I have a video of him dragging his lower regions across the top of your head. He's clothed. He's in shorts. But he tackled him funny, and Isaiah leaned forward on the couch. So when Alistair came in to hug and tackle him, he went over and ended up on his back. And then Isaiah tipped back, and his crotch was right on Isaiah's head.
Yep,
and just dragged it back, and I had a video of the whole thing.
So it wasn't on purpose.
Not that wasn't the technique he was going for.
It wasn't the technique.
I mean, I'm sure there was repeats of it after that, but
That would have worried me a bit.
I mean, well, it's
That
Dallas.
guy.
The funny thing is, he's my actual Irish twin. We were born exactly a year apart, same day, almost the exact same time.
No
Weird.
way.
Yes. We found that
No
out.
way.
Because remember the red light district picture?
Yeah.
It's him as a 9-year-old on Facebook because he doesn't use Facebook, but he just used it for like
Oh,
Messenger.
Yep.
So his picture was him as a 9-year-old. Isaiah's going to pull it up here.
Yeah.
And his profession is pimp in the red light district, and it's a 9-year-old.
Oh my god.
And I saw it. I saw his birthday was the same as mine. I was like, "What? Hey, man! Like you were
Mhm.
born, and he's born exactly a year ahead of me." So it was always kind of funny. That's why we always called each other Irish twins.
Is it that one?
No, different one.
Dang it.
That's the one you guys took of his place, because Isaiah just went to Ireland.
Where
Oh.
where is that one? That picture.
I'm sure it's still on his Facebook. But yeah, Isaiah, I was very impressed with your
Oh,
navigation
yeah.
skills because he actually navigated Northern Ireland.
That was rough.
Yeah, because you guys took all buses.
Yeah. The buses were it was kind of confusing cuz I'd never used like a bus table before,
Yeah.
and reading that shit is oh my god.
Didn't you guys end up in Glasgow? I said that in a really Scottish way. I'm
No.
sorry.
Yeah.
Where'd you guys go? You went south, didn't you?
We went to in Northern Ireland, and then we went from Northern Ireland to Letterkenny, obviously.
Clearly.
Got to go to Letterkenny.
Letterkenny's in Canada.
Yeah, there's one in Ireland.
Oh my god.
So we went
Pitter
there.
patter.
Pitter patter, let's get at her.
Oh my goodness.
You heard it, 10 ply.
It's a way of life.
It is a way of life.
Fucking Tilly, bod.
Fucking
Fertile.
Tilly.
But we went from there to from Letterkenny we went to I want to say Galway. I'm pretty
Galway?
sure.
Okay.
I
Well,
feel
you
like
guys
that's
were
not
flying
right.
through there. You guys were there, what, 2 weeks?
2 weeks. Yep.
And you guys moved every day.
We stayed 7 days with Alistair, and then 7 days we went down the southern part. So we went to Letterkenny, and from Letterkenny to Galway for 2 days, and then from Galway to Killarney, Killarney to Cork, Cork to Dublin.
Jeez.
I'm forgetting one.
Well, that's a hell of a trip already.
The heck am I forgetting?
I love saying just those names.
You really
Cark.
though?
Cork is Cark.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Killarney.
What the heck? For some reason I can't remember it. I don't know.
That's fine, dude. Don't worry about that.
I forgot where we went already.
Well, it was a long trip. Well, it was
Did
a
you know-
fast trip, I should say.
Alistair's dog has an Instagram page.
Alice.
And I think if I remember correctly, it has more followers than Alistair. So
Okay, but honestly, I'd follow a dog's Instagram page.
this dog takes fire pictures. So
My aunt has an Instagram page for her dogs.
I
She's
love
got
that.
two Pomeranian Maltese dogs. They're two
That
little
makes
white
me
dogs.
so happy.
Oh, they're demons. But I love them. They're family.
Yeah.
They're family, but my God, they're funny. There's always something going on with those two dogs. And then I think you met my dog when I was here. John's sometimes in the studio.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
was there. He did a podcast with me. I had John come in
Really?
to do a podcast
Oh.
for when we were in pre-production over
Yeah.
the summer. And he was just like laying at my feet the whole time. And I think there's a picture of him that I took or my brother took.
you'll have to look through. I'm not sure which one it is.
You okay? Yeah. Oh, he just hit his head right there.
Just a bit.
Just a bit. No, but I put headphones on John
Yeah.
and just had him kind of propped up at the table, and I took a picture of him somewhere. I don't know where that picture is right now, but I should find that again because that's the best recording buddy is my dog
That's so
because he doesn't bark.
Yeah.
So he just kind of like chills out and looks for love.
Mm.
So he'll go around a table if I have a full crew there. So we'll have
Mhm.
4 people to 5 people. He'll just work his way around the table and find as much love as he can get. It's like the perfect situation for him.
Yeah.
So now you give me all these pictures.
I'm not sure where it is in there, but it could be one of those.
I'll have to. Maybe I'll show you it here.
But yeah,
This is it.
that's
This is
the
it
one.
right here.
Yeah.
It says in the caption. It goes, "What's your occupation?" It says red light district pimp. And so I found out we were born exactly a year apart, almost down to the time, like
Jeez.
almost down to the exact time.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I always called him my Irish brother.
Mm-hmm.
But
Let me see if I can find his dog's Instagram.
Please, we'll end on that.
Dog's Instagram.
Let's end on that. Let's see. I'm sure he's got more followers than me.
There it is. This dog takes some fire pictures. Like look how
we
well
go from
he
killing
posts.
cats to
I love
cooing
dogs.
over dogs.
It's a beautiful
That
dog.
is a beautiful
wait,
dog.
let me see.
That is
Oh,
such a nice.
I
what
love
the-
it.
Let me see.
It's a Cocker Spaniel.
yes.
It just says "woof" as the caption.
Woof.
Look how many followers he has.
Oh my god, it's got over 1,000 likes.
Yeah.
How many followers?
I think it's
I'm
like
looking now.
10,000. Like 10
That's
point something.
way a lot.
10.4K.
Yeah. Bentley
For
the
his
Working
dog?
Cocker. Give him a
What?
follow.
Bentley the working cocker.
It literally says "Working Cocker Spaniel, Northern Ireland. Ball is life" with a tennis racket. Oh my god,
This
is
dog takes some
insane.
fire pictures.
Dude.
Does Alistair run it? Like
I
the
don't.
Instagram page?
I'm sure he does, but I don't know.
Oh,
my
are you?
goodness.
No, he can't possibly run this.
Well, I don't know who does then.
He
But
can't
I
possibly.
bet you it's one of his friends.
I bet it's either his friends or I think he's got a couple sisters too that probably
Yeah.
do this.
Yeah, he's got 2.
Alistair is not this creative to get 10,000 likes. I love him to death. He's my brother. He's creative
Yeah,
in different
yeah.
ways, but he is not a poster. He does
Mhm.
not he wasn't into Instagram or anything like that. He was very mellow. He was more of a live in the moment kind of guy,
Yeah.
which was appreciated. I could appreciate that. Yeah, send that to Hope. Hope will really give us an idea of how cute this dog is.
Oh my
There you go,
Oh
folks. That's
my
all you
goodness,
need.
Look at his little face.
I can't believe that. I didn't know that.
I know, right? Neither did I until one of his friends is like, "That dog's got so many followers," and I was
my
like,
god.
"What?" It's like, you gotta give him a follow.
I'm speechless, dude. That's insane. Wow. Shout out to Bentley.
I really want this dog.
Whoa,
Well, you
That's
can't go around
Alistair's dog.
kidnapping them.
I can.
you can give
Don't
him a
It's
do-
just
follow.
frowned upon. I'm not gonna throw this well.
Toss it. Sauce it. What a
I
toss.
told you I'm not gonna throw it well.
Oh my god.
My phone's probably broken now.
Well,
I'm sorry.
I think that's it then.
I can't pay for it.
No, I think that's it.
Great. Just great.
Oh my god. Well, I think we'll end it there. Any closing remarks from you guys?
Hobo's me a new phone.
I can't pay for your new phone. But I'm very happy about that dog. That dog makes me happy.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
I have to do some more research on this dog. I
I'm gonna
can't
go
believe
follow
he's
him.
gone this far without telling us.
I know, right?
There's always something.
There's always something.
There's always something going on. I swear to God. I mean,
No,
Ugh.
for reals though. Thanks for having me on again.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
well, one of these days we'll get you on as a true star where you get your own. And I wanted to talk to you about something on yourself. You're coming back on here pretty quick, I believe,
Yeah.
Hope. We're still kind of figuring out what we're going to talk about because we had a couple of ideas and we're just seeing where to start. So I know this was kind of impromptu. I know that I was
Those are the
just
best.
like, yeah, you just come in. We'll see what happens. And
Exactly.
I'm happy we did. It was just nice to spend the evening with you guys. I kind of learned something new. I
Yeah.
laughed. I don't think I've laughed that hard. Oh my God, my chest is still like vibrating from how many times I've laughed on how many that. It's like Happy Death Day at your farm. Jesus Christ. And now we have Bentley the dog, who we hope to be a sponsor of the show.
Mm-hmm.
Send us some love, Bentley.
Hell yeah.
And with that, if you want to get in contact with the show, as always, you can find us on Instagram and Twitter at the Ben Griffin Podcast. Otherwise, feel free to email the show at bengriffinpodcast@gmail.com. Thank you for reaching out. We appreciate everything you guys do, especially listening, because let's be honest, you can't see us.
Yeah, that's true.
It is true. But with that, Hope, Isaiah, thank you for joining me tonight. I know
Yeah,
you
thank
put up with
you.
some shit, but
Thank you.
it's fun to have you guys. All right, everybody, have a nice day. Thanks for listening.
Peace.